Well, good morning, everybody. I am super excited to kick us off today. A little introduction. Of course, my name is Joseph Olmsted. I worked with my advisors, Jen Young and Sarah Fisher, as the environmental education intern this summer. And we focused on education through exploration. So this summer, the National Great Rivers Research and Education Center, also known as NGRREC, hosted two different kinds of outreach and education events. The first one was summer camp, and we had two summer camps here, our College for Kids Camp Water School, which was at the beginning of July, and our STEM camp, which was last week. We also hosted two different neighbor nights on the third Tuesday of each month. June was our runoff presentation by the wonderful Dr. Sloan, and July was our intern showcase, which I do want to say all of our presenters did very, very well, and I'm very happy about how that went. So this summer, we really tried to focus on a little bit of environmental education theory. So the ultimate goal of environmental education is to promote environmentally conscious citizenship behavior. That basically means when you make decisions, you make them with the environment in mind. Like, how does this affect the environment? Am I doing good for the environment? So reusing a plastic water bottle, not letting the water run while you're brushing your teeth, or getting a PhD in environmental science. But here at NGRREC, we focused on these variables mainly. These are very external variables. For example, the entry-level variables, environmental sensitivity, and ownership variables, in-depth knowledge. So you guys at Neighbor Nights gave in-depth knowledge, and you guys gave them personal investment. During summer camp, we explored the natural world around them. We created empathy. These other variables, the empowerment variables, are very hard to do from an external source. And I want you guys to look at that second bullet right there, the intention to act. At first glance, it does sound kind of redundant. When you want to act, first you need the intention to act, but it's a very important intrinsic switch that happens when individuals take those entry-level variables and those ownership variables and turn that into the intention to act. We can't do that from an outside source, but we can definitely help them get there through these variables. And the top line was inspired from a paper by Hungerford and Volk for environmental education. And the bottom line, that was inspired from David Sobel's Beyond Ecophobia. I want you guys to take a look at the age ranges, ages 4 through 7, empathy with the natural world, 7 through 11, exploration. That was the main group of our summer camps, the 7 through 11, so that's why we focused a lot on the exploration part. And then ages 12 and up, of course, that intention to act. So, David Sobel's Beyond Ecophobia. Ecophobia, well, let's talk about it. So, you see these photos, you guys get a little, hopefully you get a little sad. I would hope so. I get a little sad watching this. Deforestation, melting of the ice caps, fire. So his theory is that we're teaching kids about those natural disasters and just giant problems that they can't fix way too early in their life. So they're developing this ecophobia, they're distancing themselves from action, and they're kind of just have this dread of nature. And he came up with those age ranges to really help facilitate not having ecophobia and facilitating environmentally conscious citizenship behavior. So we're starting off with empathy and animal allies. Kids really connect with animals because they don't see as many differences as we do. The ages 7 through 11, exploration, searching their own backyard. Expanding their home view. And then, of course, ages 12 and up, small-scale environmental action. You don't have to go big, but if you can make a small difference in your community, that would be very good for them. So that's what we did in summer camp. We had place-based education through exploration. So place-based education is really creating this sense of place to the environment where they grow up, where they live. So we really focus on creating educational programs that relate to the Mississippi floodplain. That top picture is us doing mud painting on tote bags, and then the bottom picture, they were doing a little scavenger hunt on the roof, lots of birds and animals and plants. These are some of the activities that we did. So a lot of kids, they have different kinds of learning styles, from independent, team to group activities. So we really tried to facilitate all different kinds of learning styles through all different kinds of activities. Here's some pictures. The top left is an Enviroscape presentation. If you were at July Neighbor Nights, that was part of my booth. The top right is the museum tour, which we are very thankful for the museum for letting us go over there. The bottom left is them making seed paper. So they would make paper, put seeds on it, and then they could plant it at home of native wildflowers. And the bottom right was our little canoe trip. I had the pleasure of going canoeing 4 times this summer, which means I got sunburned 4 times this summer. Here's a video of a game. Hello. There it is. This game is called Bear, Salmon, Mosquito. Teaches about predator-prey relationships. If there was sound, you would hear screaming and running. And then there's me and Julia and Haley standing awkwardly. So, of course, we did try to keep it educational. So we did have a little bit of evaluations. And we asked them to rank their familiarity about 3 different subjects: land use and runoff, water filtering, and water quality. And we did this by using 3 baskets. Each of them grabbed a little bingo chip of the corresponding color based on their familiarity, and they just dropped whatever color they wanted, they felt was appropriate for their knowledgeability, into the corresponding basket. So the top one was our pre-camp evaluations. So lots of red and yellow, lots of unfamiliars and somewhat familiars, and the bottom was our post-camp evaluations. So very, very thankful that there was some improvement, that they did listen to us sometimes. That was good. And so now we're gonna move on to our neighbor nights. Here are some of the designs we made with our wonderful Spider Lab models. They were great. So June 15th, we had 12 visitors, and July 20th, we had 45 visitors, which big increase. Thank you guys for bringing your friends and family, spreading the word. That was awesome. Like I said, these are some designs. On the bottom right, that was our little booklet. There's a map inside. And if they collected 12 stamps by talking to 12 interns, they got a prize, which was a water bottle or bag, if any of you guys are interested. Here's some pictures. You guys get to be in my presentation. It's all about you. And we had comment cards at the end before they left. So not everyone filled out the comment card, but this was, we did ask their age. As you can see, 35 and up really dominated the competition with their turnout. And we also asked them if they were likely to come back, and that was an overwhelming yes. And we also asked them if they learned anything, and that was also an overwhelming yes. So good job, everybody. So neighbor nights, I want to go back to this environmental education theory. Neighbor nights really focused on that ownership variables, that in-depth knowledge of environmental issues, and the personal investment, which you guys communicated very clearly. But it could be argued that even just going to neighbor nights is environmentally conscious citizenship behavior. They're actively trying to increase their knowledge, better themselves for their community, and learn about their community. So, looking forward, summer camp, after a little bit of talking, we did decide that we could have incorporated the theme of water better throughout the entire camp. We are Camp Water School, so that would be appropriate. And demographic outreach, that's really important. The College for Kids Camp Water School was a 100% free camp. So really reaching out to those underprivileged communities would improve a lot of the understanding and education throughout the community. Neighbor nights, of course, demographic outreach, not only with age but also with race. A lot of the people that came were white, so reaching out to other communities, that's just super important generally for environmental education. And other community events that we could do on the weekends or other Tuesday nights or Thursday nights. Just really trying to expand our educational and outreach programs. Super fun. And any questions? Here's my poster. Yes.
It seems that I really like your don't start them with disasters first, because when I teach, I always try to teach. I'm an environmental engineer, so I try to teach. Okay, so we've got problems, but we got solutions. Let's fix it. And but it seems that we're always preaching to the same choir. Did you have an idea that some of the people that came are those people that had never been to anything like this?
Like to neighbor nights or summer camp?
To the neighbor nights.
To neighbor nights? Yeah, so it is really hard to just to reach out to different kinds of communities and people, but I did see a lot of familiar faces at neighbor nights, so obviously they're going to be more environmentally conscious than others, so that's why it's really important to reach out to different demographics and just different communities, especially the younger community, the our age group, because we are the ones that are going to make the most change in the world because we have the most time left. So, yes, Brad.
Speaking of that, so what were the demographics of your young students that came for summer camp, and how did you recruit them to increase diversity or not worry about that?
So the demographics, it was, kids 9 to 12, mainly white.
From Illinois or?
Yeah, just from
Missouri?
The local area around here. Lots of Illinois, some Missouri. I wasn't really part of the recruitment part, but just, reaching out to this community was the main goal of that.
Where did you flyer? Where did you?
Oh, right. We did flyer. As you did see the flyer with our Spider Lab people, that was, we just went around to Alton and Grafton and hung up some flyers. You might still be able to see them if they haven't taken them down yet. I know the Post Commons one is still up because I just saw that, and Old Bakery. But yeah, we did go around and flyer up the 50s.
We have a question from the Zoom audience.
Yeah.
It is from Megan Johnston, and she says, what was the most challenging part of working with the kiddos and teaching them this summer?
The most challenging part, I would say, having them listen to me. I tried to be the good guy most of the time, but I did have to, get my big booming voice and be like, hey, listen, but, sorry. Yeah, but, you know, at summer camp, I don't want to be too hard on them. They're supposed to have a good time, but when they need to listen, they need to listen. Yes.
In terms of expanding diversity to widen your audience, would that be obtained more so from like more social media driven outreach, or would that be something from like reaching out to different communities?
I think we could do both. I think social media is obviously huge, so that's very important, but you know, social media is also very bubbled or cliquey almost in its own way. So of course we could do social media, but I also think, you know, going to places and reaching out to them, driving to St. Louis in that area would be a real benefit.
So just a quick question. What did the parents say when they would drop the kids off and pick them up? Were they like really excited about the program, or they were like, oh, thank goodness you can watch them?
Yeah, that was a big part of it, but the kids tell the parents about the program, and they were always very excited to drop them off. They often said, you know, this is such a cool program. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. That made me feel good. So. All right.